All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the ETF Options Superstars program. Thought I would get a video out here this afternoon, just taking a few minutes and walking through our new trade from this afternoon on XLK, which is the technology ETF. Before we get over to that chart, just some quick thoughts on this overall market. We continue to see a very volatile environment. We've seen big moves in both directions with the underlying trend in place to the downside. Clearly, it's been a nasty move lower. Along the way, we have had some of these vicious rallies where the market's up 1,000 points and it sells off 1,000 points. I mean, we've just seen that back and forth continue. I fully expect things to start settling down here over the next week or so. The volatility that we have seen has been historic. It's not sustainable long term. Definitely think the market will stay active in the months to come. I just think it's going to be a much more tradable active, where we're not seeing 1,000-point swings on a daily basis. We might be seeing, 200, 300, 400-point swings back and forth. I think we're very close to getting back to that type of an environment. Now, we have a lot of charts that continue to show very oversold conditions. That has me looking for more neutral to bullish trades here. Definitely don't want to get aggressive on the downside here with the new trades. If you already have bearish positions on, that's one thing. But initiating new trades on the downside, be careful here. We're at levels that are very overdone. We could very well see a bounce in the near term. Doesn't mean the low is in long term. I'm saying over the next couple days, the next couple of weeks, probably due for a much needed bounce to the upside. From a technical perspective, we did make a new low on this move to the downside. 218.26 is now our near-term area to watch on the downside, near-term area of support. On the upside, if we do get a bounce, I'd love to see that 8-period EMA tested. Right now, it's sitting at 244.06. We have not tested the 8 EMA since around March 3rd or so. So we're due, very due for a bounce up to test that level, and we'll see if that happens over the next few days. A lot of this is going to depend on whether they get the stimulus bill passed, whether some of these virus numbers, if they start to improve a little bit, we could very well see a vicious rally. Does it seem like wishful thinking? Maybe, but what I'm throwing out there is we have seen historic moves. What seemed impossible just a couple of weeks ago has now been shown it's very possible, and we could very well see a vicious rally to the upside. I'm not saying some of our existing positions are going to go back to profit, but if we continue to, see this volatility stick around, it doesn't do us any good to close out of these positions now, because on many of these, we don't have any additional risk. These are risk-defined trades. I know what my maximum loss is up front. If we can get a rally back higher, it could potentially allow us to get out of some of our open positions with partial losses and so forth. So that's why, it doesn't not feel good if you've got a position that's looking at a full loss. But when you're in that situation and that trade still has a couple of weeks left, it's really in our best interest to continue to hold. There's no additional risk. I know what my maximum loss is up front, and we could potentially benefit from another rally higher. It's not probable, right? It's not guaranteed that it's going to happen, but it's possible. And in this market, crazy things have been happening on a daily basis. So that's why we continue to hold some of those open positions. As far as our new trade from this afternoon, it is on XLK. That is the technology ETF. And we have a lot of similar looking chart patterns. A lot of these charts are near very extreme oversold levels. And the reason why I'm saying they're oversold, we're looking at our pulse indicator. It's the yellow, the red, the green, the blue histogram down at the bottom. And you can see for the last 3 bars, we have seen a blue indicator reading. That indicates that price action is past a 3 standard deviation move on the downside. It's very unusual to see this type of an extreme. When it happens, in many cases, it will lead to a period of consolidation or even a bounce, in this case, to the upside. Doesn't mean price can't head lower, just means it's not statistically probable. Okay, so notice what's happened as we continue to move lower and lower. It's getting messier down here. We're starting to see some of that chop kick in. Doesn't guarantee it has to bounce here, but odds favor, we've seen this pattern before, odds favor either a sideways move, some consolidation, or a reversal to the upside. So the basis for today's trade was the oversold extreme on the pulse indicator. We know that out of this move, only 0.1% of all occurrences will fall outside of this move on the downside. The odds favor a move higher. Now, the way that we played it today, going over to the trade page, is we went out a little bit further in time. I went out to the May options. Those have 53 days left. I gave myself more time to be right on this trade. Just in case we get another wave to the downside, just in case we continue to stay volatile, it just gives us more time to hold on to the position. So from the alert this afternoon, we came in, we mentioned we wanted to use the May 15 monthly options. Those are the ones with 53 days left. And then we went to the 64 puts. We right-clicked on the 64 puts. We went to sell and we went to vertical. So we sold the 64 puts and then we bought the 62 puts at the same time. I mentioned in the alert we wanted to collect 50 cents or higher. This one is now trading for 80 cents mid-price. And it's a little bit misleading because in the afternoon, going into the close, what they've been doing lately is just really widening out those markets. So the bid-ask spreads, you can see, I mean, there's a $4 difference between the bid and ask prices here. So that's why it looks a little bit funky. We got filled on this trade this afternoon around 55 cents. So I know it looks like it's a ways away, but markets will tighten up tomorrow morning after the open. But we got filled at 55 cents. So clicking on the confirm and send button, we're risking $145 to make 55. We're right around risk 3 to make 1, slightly better than that. We're typically in that risk 2 or 3 to make 1 range. We make money 5 ways on this trade. We need price action to stay above 63.45. Currently, it's sitting at 70.40. We've got about a $7 move, $7 cushion on this trade. It's a neutral to bullish position. Ideally, I want the stock to move to the upside. And if it does, that's how I'm going to make money the fastest. If we continue to move lower here, we're not in trouble for another $7 on the downside. I'm not expecting a big move lower because we're already at such an oversold extreme. And we still have a 10% cushion in the price of the stock before we're in trouble. So a lot to like on this trade. So up, down, or sideways, we're okay. We can make money all 3 ways. We make money as time decay adds up. So time decay is going to help us every day that passes. And then we also make money if volatility decreases. So we do have 5 ways of making money on the position. We are targeting 50 to 75% of our maximum profit potential on this trade. So collecting 55 cents, that's our maximum profit. My target range is anywhere between 13 and 27 cents. I'm going to place my closing order initially at 13 cents. That would allow me to book 75% of my max profit. So anytime over the next 53 days, if we get a market bounce higher, if the spread trades for 13 cents, we're going to be able to close it out and book the profit. And it's nice to have those closing orders working for the target levels. Just takes a little bit of stress off. In this active market, I mean, things can happen quickly. I like to have those orders working if at all possible. Now over in the Tastyworks platform, let's quickly shift over there. Take a look at how to place the trade there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the trade tab here on the left-hand side. Up at the top in the symbol box, I'm going to change this to XLK. It's going to load up the trade page where I see all of my expiration cycles on the left-hand side. We want to select the May 15 options, the ones with 53 days left. So you can see that number of days left expiration in the middle column. So I'm going to open those up. And from our alerts, we mentioned that we wanted to sell the 64 put and buy the 62 put. So to sell the 64 put, I'm going to go to the put options on the right-hand side. I'm going to left click on the bid price of the 64 put. That's going to box it in red, indicating a sell order. And then I'm going to left click on the 62 put and the ask price of the 62 put. That's going to box it in green, representing a buy order. Down at the bottom, it is summarized where I am selling one 64 put, STO stands for sell to open, and I am buying the 62 put, BTO, buy to open. I can change the quantity here. I can change it from 1 to 3 to 5, whatever quantity you want to trade. I can change the price in the middle column, so I can type in any price that I want. So let's go ahead and type in 55 cents. The order type needs to be set to net credit. Anytime that I say sell to open, we are doing the trade for a credit. Time in force, we're going to set this to a day order. If I click on the drop-down menu, you could also change this to GTC or good till cancel. Anytime it's an entry order, I like to use a day order. GTCs are okay, but I only use those for exit orders. Okay, so set that to a day order. You can click on review and send and make sure you review to make sure the trade is done correctly here, and then send the order and you're good to go. So if you have any questions on the XLK trade, feel free to send me an email, mike@netpicks.com. You can always leave a question inside of Slack or the NetPicks app, and I'll get back to you right away as well. So we'll watch markets closely this week, see if we can see if we can get our 3 to 5 trades on this week. We'll certainly let you know when we're taking action on our side. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. I'll be back with you guys on Tuesday for our next round of trade alerts. Enjoy your evening, and we'll talk to you guys over the next few days.